லண்டனிலிருந்து முழங்கும் தமிழ் முழக்கம் நிகழ்ச்சி. நீங்கள் அனைவரும் ஆவலுடன் எதிர்பார்த்து நிற்கும் பேட்டி அடுத்ததாக இடம்பெறப் போகிறது. டாக்டர் V.S.Mani அவர்களை துபாயிலிருந்து திருமதி உமா பிரசாத் அவர்கள் பேட்டி காண விழைந்துள்ளார். எங்களுடைய வேண்டுகோளுக்கு இணங்கி இருவரும் மீண்டும் வந்திருக்கிறார்கள். இதோ டாக்டர் V.S.Maniயும் உமா பிரசாத்தும் வருகிறார்கள். ஒரு சிறிய அறிமுகம். டாக்டர் V.S.Maniயை தெரியாதவர்கள் யாரும் இல்லை. ஏனென்றால் இது நமது 2வது பேட்டி, ஒலிபரப்பு பேட்டி. அவர் அலுமினியம் தொழிலில் ஆராய்ச்சி செய்து டாக்டர் பட்டம் பெற்றவர். வினோதமாக கடந்த பல ஆண்டுகளாக அவர் திடீரென்று நாவலாசிரியராக மாறிவிட்டார். காதல் கதை முதல் பல்வேறு கதைகளை எழுதி வருகிறார். இப்பொழுது அராமிகா என்ற புதிய நாவல் சில காலத்திற்கு முன்பாக வெளியாகி இருக்கிறது. அதை பற்றி பேட்டி கொடுக்க வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டுக்கொண்டவுடன் அவர் முன்னதாக வந்து சேர்ந்தார். இன்று பேட்டி காண வரும் உமா பிரசாத் அவர்களும் நமக்கு நன்கு அறிமுகமானவர். சென்ற பேட்டியும் அவர் நடத்தினார். அது மட்டுமல்ல, இனிமையாக பாடக்கூடியவர். நமக்கு நிறைய பாடல்களையும் தந்திருக்கிறார். இதோ டாக்டர் V.S.Maniயை உமா பிரசாத் அவர்கள் பேட்டி காண்கிறார். இதோ.
Namaskaram, sir. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Good evening to all our listeners and our viewers. A few weeks back, I had interviewed Dr. Mani on various books that he had written in the past. And at that point of time, he mentioned that he was very close to finishing a book titled Anamika. And he had promised that he'll surely catch up on the book and chat with us. And I think now that the book is out for everyone to read, here we have Dr. Mani, who is going to talk to us about his book. Welcome, Dr. Mani, once again on this show.
Thank you, Uma. And Swaminathan for the opportunity. Yeah.
Well, let us start with the first question to shoot. The first thing that strikes us when we start reading, when we pick up the book, is the name Anamika, because as we understand, Anamika means without a name. So why is it you've chosen this title for your book?
I was lack of imagination. I had to think of a name for the publisher, so I put it as Anamika. I couldn't think any other appropriate name.
Very simple as that. Okay, fine. As we start reading through your book, we notice that the hero of the book, Mr. Raj, is a person who knows multiple languages, many languages. Is that really possible for somebody to be familiar with so many languages?
You know, the moment we talk about, I can talk 5 or 6 Indian languages and all, we don't bat an eyelid. But the same thing with the foreign. Question here is, he was only talking, understand, and use phrases to communicate. He is not a O-level student in each of those languages. And as he becomes a medic, he is more interested in general welfare and the health related one rather than the history, geography of any of those places. Right? So that is what it is. It should not be interpreted as he is a wizard in every language, you know.
All right. Okay. Got that. In the story, we see that this young medic is earning very quickly in his life, very early in life, a very huge salary. Is that possible for a medic who is just got into medical field to earn that much?
Right. Now, in the early 60s, NHS had just started after World War II and was taking care of most of the UK population. Harley Street doctors were dealing mostly with overseas, very rich patients, from Middle East, and also from business people, affluent businessmen, British businessmen working in various South Africa, or Zimbabwe, or Zambia, or anywhere else in the world. And they always come for medical to Harley Street. So you should not compare the local GP salaries with the Harley Street people. You see, this is the problem, you know.
All right. Fine. I think that seems to be a satisfactory answer. We do understand now why. Why is it that for this particular book, you have chosen an Anglo Indian theme?
You see, the thing is, it is not uncommon for Indian girls to marry attracted by color and position offered by the British bosses. Very rarely, absolutely, extremely very rarely,
Mm.
oh, sorry, very rarely we uh, come across English lady marrying an Indian. It is unusual. So the Anglo Indian term here refers to, in this particular case, uh, the Iyengar girl who married the. What
Even
happened to
higher
video?
family.
I started the video. What is?
No, it's quite clear now.
Sorry,
It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
but you could
Uh,
hear me all this time.
yes, yes, we could hear
Okay,
you all the way.
okay. You
It's
not
very
see my
clear.
face doesn't matter.
Okay. The last time when you were talking to us about your previous books, you said you would like to mention a few reasons about why you started writing, and also who were the people who influenced your writing. Could you
Okay.
elaborate on those, please?
See, even though I did not have anyone in family to motivate me, my first job in CMMP Durgapur USSR funded plant, there were 300 technical people, and one was assigned to me for the management of the pattern shop and steel casting foundry. My main task was to translate in English, with the
Mm,
help of the technical person,
mm,
300 GOST, GOST, that is the Russian standard practices, so that
okay.
the managers and operators could follow the procedure. My
Okay.
next job was with
Mm,
the British Aluminium Company in UK, and I
mm,
had to update 8 to 10-year-old practices of over 60 alloys cast in the shop. When
okay.
I joined to do PhD in Swansea, I was already trained for systematic writing. Right?
Okay. Mm,
So later on, when I was working for the GP surgery,
okay.
I planned to write a admin manual, and which
Okay.
was my first book,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Written under my full name and full
Wonderful.
title of Dr. V. Subramanian, right?
Very, very proud moment
Yeah.
for you, for all of us.
That's the only textbook I have written. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Now, regarding the help I had, my elder brother, a chartered accountant, taught me to do
Mm,
limited company accounts. I had
okay.
Mr. Vishwanathan, who was
Mm,
doing accounts for South Indian Society at that time and for MJ Exports Limited UK, where I worked. He got me the work for the
mm,
GP surgery in Tottenham.
mm,
Mr. Karthik Raghavan of SAS helped me on the WordPress for the website details. And WordPress was very difficult. There were not that many people who knew how to use it, or,
mm,
so I published the book. I did thank the three of them for
mm.
publishing that book, you see. And I must say, Mr. Natarajan, this is Nirmala Natarajan was the first to review my book on the surgery management.
Wow, that's wonderful. So it looks like a lot of them have played very vital roles in
Exactly.
influencing you. They've played very important roles. Nice to hear that. I'm sure by now you are planning your next book now that Anamika is released. And can you talk to us about that, please?
Well, I would just say this. This is about an Indian adopted child
Hmm.
brought up to live in UK. Now,
Okay.
this is not going into details of problems of adoption or other things,
Okay.
but during the course of his life, how
Hmm.
that adoption has affected him and
Okay.
the others. That's all. So that's all I will say at this stage. I'm still in
Right.
the,
Right.
you know, in the
That's
second chapter.
Thank you. Wish you all the best for it. And do let us know when it's time for us to have our hands on it. Well, in this book, again coming back to Anamika, in this book, as we read through, we realize at various points and more frequently, astrology playing a very vital role for this doctor. And every time he meets with the patients, he talks, it looks like he shows a lot of interest in astrology, asking them about their date of birth, etc. Why is it that in this particular book, you have introduced this idea of astrology?
You see, India and astrology are synonymous. It always comes. Every Indian knows something about reading the palm history or something like that.
mm,
But more importantly, I was told by my friend, a medic who
mm,
was doing private practice, he
mm,
said, you try to know astrology and palmistry to
mm.
help weed out dying patients so that you can push them out to other hospital or something, because it is too crucial for private practice income, people
Mm.
dying in when you are handling, So it's
Okay.
so you need to know these two very well, it may not be taught in the NHS here or in the Indian this thing, but
Okay.
everybody has some idea of that. You see. That is
Okay.
why.
All right. All right. In most of your stories, this is a little longer question I'm going to ask you. In most of your stories, the hero is a medical practitioner or he's a medical consultant. Okay. Why is it that you have chosen this as this profession? And not only that, in obviously in all your books, since the hero is a medical consultant or a practitioner, you have used a lot of medical terms and other details that are used in the kind of tests conducted or the surgeries or the scans, many of them. How is it that in spite of not being a doctor, you are able to, you're familiar with all these terms and you're able to use it appropriately?
You see, in the UK, medic, being a medic is a very respected profession. In the 60s, when racism and all were there, you
Mm,
need a profession where you
mm,
can get into and be respected,
mm,
right? And once you become a consultant, you are
mm.
like near enough a god, you see.
Okay.
Now, none of my heroes became God, but that is the one reason I choose that.
Okay.
Secondly, I also use sometimes, if it is not medic,
Mm,
trading in stocks or shares so that he
mm,
can be independent and he
mm,
doesn't have to work for any boss
mm,
with associated stresses of corporate management and all those things. That is what I have to say.
mm,
Now, and as regards knowing that, you shouldn't forget, I have been a practice manager of a
mm,
GP surgery, large GP surgery, for
mm,
nearly 5 years.
mm.
So something will rub on me, I hope, so has
That's
rubbed
right.
on me. That is what I would say.
Okay. Okay. Good. um, in all books, in most of your books, the hero always seems to be hailing from an Indian background, or he has spent his early years of his childhood in India, or his parents seem to be from India. Any specific reason for this?
Well, again, lack of imagination, I go like a scientist with a narrow band. I know
Mm,
of only these two countries' cultures mainly, and I
okay.
stick to that, you see. Anything else, I have to have a lot of imagination and this thing which I do not have.
Okay.
I find it safe to write on these two. You see.
Okay. Okay. And one last question I have for you. What positive thoughts or qualities do you think your readers can take, the older readers and the youngsters who read, from your book?
Now, I would say, I would advise everybody always keep writing a page each day.
Hmm,
Date and time it need not be chronological.
hmm,
Then never tell about that to your family or friends. After 8 or 9 months, you
hmm,
would have around enough material to write a book.
hmm,
Distant families can be most discouraging. My wife, the two sons, Sanjay and Deepak, and their spouses, Meera and Kashmira, were extremely encouraging and
hmm.
supportive in funding self publishing costs.
Okay. Hmm,
Always choose a local literary agent who has
hmm,
contact with publishers.
hmm,
Avoid contacting Amazon, Kindle, or big publishers directly, as they do not read more than 2 or 3 chapters. The agent would read the whole story. They
hmm,
usually do not charge a fee,
hmm,
but sometimes they will do a small fee.
hmm.
The author of Harry Potter was rejected by 30 publishers before it was
Oh,
accepted
yes,
and
yes.
got famous.
Hmm.
I am on my 21st now, right? Over 90%, 95% of the writers
Hmm,
cannot live on the pittance of the royalties uh, they get. And I would say always write for your own pleasure, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's wonderful. I'm sure, especially your last answer on the positive thoughts and qualities, I'm sure those listeners and viewers, the older generation and the youngsters who are hearing Dr. Mani, I think you must take these tips and really get started with the 1 page a day kind of a
I like
routine.
I like to
Yes,
show
Mani.
this was my first book, Orphan Dreams, change the name 3 times,
Right. Okay.
Then
Okay.
there was this Whirlpool life, about the life of the whole thing is set in Madras, because that is
Yes.
it didn't come to UK, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
to tell you that it was
That's
not,
right.
and
Yes,
he
I
wasn't
remember that.
that is.
I remember. Yes.
Then there was another book which I thought I had a copy, but somehow I had given to everybody. I don't have a copy.
Okay.
Then the next one was the Wayward Land. See.
Okay. Could you show it to us? We are not able to
Yeah.
see it clearly. A
Okay.
little higher. That's right.
Wayward Land, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, then this is the latest one, Anamika.
Excellent.
Okay.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. So I thank you, Uma, for this interview and admire your patient hearing. My
It was my
thanks to
pleasure.
Mr. Swaminathan and to the listeners in the UK and abroad. All my books are available through the distributors Amazon.com or .co.uk or .india, etc. for paperbacks and Kindle for ebooks. So God bless you all and
Thank you very much. And on behalf of all the viewers and the listeners, first of all, congratulations for all the books that have been released so far. And I'm sure it's got lots of readers. And once again, all the best for Anamika and the new book that is still taking shape.
Thank
And
you.
probably we'll have another chat
Yeah.
regarding that some other time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mani, and wish you all the best.
Thank you,
Dr.
Ma'am.
Swaminathan.
Thank you, Dr. Swaminathan. And all
Thank you.
the-
Thank you very much, Dr. V.S.Mani, Chairman of South Indian Society. And thank you, Uma Prasad of Dubai.
You're welcome.
Both of you are inspiring us to write more and more. And not only that, even at the late stage of one's life, one can become an author. So Dr. Mani is an inspiration for us. Now that he has become the chairman of South Indian Society, I would like to request him to organize a seminar for writers or the budding writers like us,
That's
and
a
then we will
wonderful
do
idea.
it. And we have already reserved a slot for you and Dr. Mani for the next book. We have been waiting very eagerly to see that one. Thank you very much. Please come again. நேர்கள் கேட்டுக்கொண்டிருப்பது லண்டனிலிருந்து முழங்கும் தமிழ் முழக்கம் நிகழ்ச்சி. இன்றைய நிகழ்ச்சிகளை நம்முடைய கோ ப்ரொடியூசர் வைஷ்ணவி ஆனந்த் அவர்கள் நிறைவு செய்வார். இதோ வைஷ்ணவி ஆனந்த்.
ஞானமயம் தமிழ் முழக்கம் நிகழ்ச்சியை இதுவரை பார்த்துக் கொண்டிருந்தவர்கள்